houses to be built affordably. Like, I mean, that's true as well. So that's why he's kind of like, I think that's what the reason he's dancing around the topic, because it's really hard to make the argument for affordable housing when under Biden, I mean, the materials to build a house skyrocketed. It's really hard to make that argument as a Democrat.
True, and what needs to be done.
I mean, unless he's about to sit there and make solution, or not make solutions, but give solutions on, hey, yo, this is how we need to bring down cement. This is how we need to bring down lumber so we can bring down the cost of building single family housing. This is what we need to do with it. Put it here, there, and the third. Is like, if he's saying that, I mean, honestly, then shoot, I'd vote for him again if he actually has some real goddamn plans. But or any Democrat who would actually speak to that. Like, if you're actually speaking about some real plans, you're actually pointing out what the Democrats are effing up and then being like, yeah, well, here's the better plan. I would vote for a Democrat like that. But the problem is y'all just poke fun at Trump's plan, and then y'all sit there and try to stall his plans while having no real plans of your own. And that's just pathetic. I'll be honest with you. Like, people don't respect that unless they hate Trump that much.
And also recognize that we are in a particular time and place here in America, and voters are not going to agree with us 100% on everything. And so it is not a sellout. It's not a betrayal to say that we're going to shape our agenda and our message in a way that allows us to build a working majority to get stuff done. Yeah. And I think particularly around social issues, sometimes we get confused around this. You witness what happened in Minneapolis, and you say to yourself, morally speaking, that 5-year-old child who's standing in front of that SUV as his father's being dragged off, that child is equal to mine, or any child.
In the eyes of God, of course. In the eyes of God, all children are equal. But I mean, bro, we ain't talking about God, man. We're talking about the law. There's two different things. There's the eyes of God, which both of the children are equal under. And then there's the eyes of the law, immigration law specifically. That's what we're talking about. Okay, my man. So no, we're not trying to sit here and dehumanize people. We're just trying to sit here and tell the difference between a U.S. citizen or a legal immigrant. The difference between a legal immigrant and an undocumented immigrant. The difference between a U.S. citizen and an illegal immigrant. I'm sorry, but for some reason, we need to tell people the difference because you guys are protecting both. And I mean, we can't have that. And like, you trust me, we get it. I equal under the eyes of God. I believe in the same thing. Trust me. But equal under the eyes of the law? Not so much. Now, when it comes to the case of that 5-year-old boy, I do believe he's kind of like an anchor baby situation. So he was born in America, so that does make him an American citizen. But let's be honest, though, like the way his father's situation was set up, well, if his father wanted to, make sure that he never put his son through that, he would work his hardest to make sure he had his paperwork together. But apparently he didn't. So this is why he ended up in that situation. I mean, we did a nice way. We sent that we pretty much re-engineered a whole app for these guys to pretty much self-deport and get cash for it. And a lot of them didn't take the nice way. So the mean way is going pretty much door to door and catching them in the streets. And you can't get mad at the Trump administration when they provided a nice way out.
His immigration status, his nationality does not change the love and decency that we should be showing that child. But what is also true is that we're a nation of laws, we have borders, and we've got to figure out an immigration policy that is orderly and that is fair and is enforced in a sensible way that is compatible with our values, but may not fully capture the degree to which that kid should have the same chances in life as a U.S. citizen kid. But, we've got to accommodate the reality that the majority of the American people think that there's a difference between somebody who's a U.S. citizen and somebody who's not, and that they want an orderly immigration system.
Yep. I mean, just like you did, Obama, ain't nothing wrong with that.
And sometimes I think what happens in the online debate is if somebody suggests, well, we have to have some immigration enforcement, then somebody's going to point at that child and say, well, so you don't care about that kid. Yeah. So you must be a bad person.
What? Hold on. I don't care about that kid because I want the kid to be deported. I mean, you know what? I can somewhat hear the emotional argument on that one. I do feel like it's an overly emotional argument. You're kind of basically pulling at heartstrings to win. And I would have to hit them with that. Well, look, they're here illegally. I mean, they can still be safe in their own country. And I mean, if you don't like that, then instead of trying to bring these guys into our country, let's try to help them make their country a safer place. If you actually care so much about these children, because they can't be here, they can't be here. So if you truly cared about them, let's help them in their own country instead of trying to bring them here, thinking now we're actually doing something. Because I mean, there's millions of children just like this kid right here that's suffering in that country that you're afraid to send them to. So, I mean, shoot, well, if you care about this one, let's help all of them then. Let's be consistent across the board. Let's not pick and choose. But y'all are not willing to do that, are you?
The same would be true, let's say, here in Los Angeles around the homeless issue. I think morally, ethically speaking, it is an atrocity that in a country this wealthy, we have people just on the streets. And we should have we should insist on policies that recognize their full humanity, people who are houseless, and be able to provide them the help and resources that they need. But we should also recognize that the average person, doesn't want to have to navigate around a tent city in the middle of downtown, and that we're not going to be able to build a working majority and support for the resources that we need to help folks like that, whether it's drug treatment or temporary housing or what have you. We're not going to be able to generate support for it if we simply say, you know what, it's not their fault, and so they should be able to do whatever they want.
I'm be real with you, and you're also not going to generate support for it if you build these houses, build these homeless shelters, create all these assistance programs, and let illegal immigrants take participation in it, take part in it. I'm sorry, but you're really not going to get it if y'all keep doing that as well. I mean, I like what he's saying. Yeah, we need to actually help out the homeless, help our veterans. But I mean, bro, the Biden administration took all that resource and gave it to illegals. I mean, you know how much of homeless people we could have put up in those hotels, but we gave it to illegals? How much families we could have gave like thousands of dollars to in a food assistance, but we gave it to illegals? Like, please miss us with that bullshit at that point. Like, we ain't even trying to hear it. Like, y'all had all the opportunity in the world to help these people, and you chose to help people that aren't even Americans. We're not hearing it.
Because that's a losing political strategy. That doesn't mean that we care less about those folks. It means if we really care about them, then we got to try to figure out how do we gain majority support and be practical in terms of what we can get through at this moment in time and build on those victories. That a lot of times is the arguments that are taking place, but they become sort of performative, and people start saying, oh, you're selling out. Or conversely, I think sometimes folks at the center say, you're being impractical and dismissing legitimate critiques and concerns. And what we need to be able to do is to maintain both ideas at the same time, which is our long-term goals have to be driven by our values and our core beliefs and our ethics and our morals, and the sense that every person counts. And short-term, we got to win elections.
Right.
And anyway, the good news is, I think that the folks that we are fighting politically, the current White House, this administration, and their enablers, they're behaving so badly, they're doing such crazy stuff, that it shouldn't be hard for our side to coalesce around the areas where we agree on and focus on that. And I think that that is going to happen if we are effective in winning the midterms, if we then have a robust primary for who's going to be the next Democratic president,
Hmm.
we shouldn't be afraid of having a robust debate. I want all comers to sort this out. I benefited from having about as grueling a primary
Yeah.
as I could have. It made me a better candidate. It ultimately made me a better president because I had been tested. My ideas had been tested. The story I was telling about America had been tested. And that's what we should be looking for, rather than expecting that somehow we're going to all come up with some consensus blueprint master plan that everybody's going to execute. Democrats aren't good at doing that anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think, one block of voters who I think there has been particular focus paid to right now is young voters. And, you were able to mobilize a generation of young voters in a way that hadn't been done before. I got involved in politics because of you. And in fact, a lot of millennials, folks my age, got involved in politics because of you. Like when I was a student, you could not find any other students on campus who were not supporting your campaign. Democrats and you had owned the cultural zeitgeist in a way that hadn't been done before, and frankly hasn't been done since. And we've seen a shift happen, obviously, from 2008, 2012 up to 2024.
Because let's be honest, Obama, look, man, I'm be real with you. I know a lot of people don't like Obama, but he did some decent things. I'll be real with you, especially when it came to immigration crackdown, taking us out of that crazy recession that Bush got us into. Well, really him not handling the fraudulency that was going on in the housing market. I mean, let's be honest, that happened under him. He didn't handle it. The economy fell out, and Obama got us back on track. And we got to be real. Obama actually did. And I mean, that was a major selling point for Obama as well. The economy. Of course. And immigration. A lot of immigrants came in under the Bushes. Well, under his son. Yeah, under George W. Bush. So, yeah, Obama actually won on a lot of the mistakes that the Republicans made. And then, yes, he took on some policies that Republicans make today, which is actually pretty funny how a lot of you Dems actually hate what he's doing today. Because let me be real with you, Obama actually took some strategies, not Obama, but Trump actually did take some strategies out of Obama's playbook, especially when it comes to immigration.
Right. And for the first time, we saw Democrats really lose their grip on culture in a way that hadn't happened before. And so what is your advice in terms of remobilizing a generation of Americans that we've had trouble mobilizing up to this point?
Well, look, part of it has to do with the fact that I was young.
Yeah.
And
maybe don't nominate octogenarians.
Look, I'm 64 now. I'm pretty healthy, 64. Feel great.
Yeah.
But the truth is, half of the references that my daughters make about social media, TikTok, etc., I don't know who they're talking about.
Yeah.
There is a element of, at some point, you age out.
Yep.
You're not connected directly to the immediate struggles that folks are going through. And so I'm not making a hard and fast rule here, but I do think that Democrats do well when we have candidates who are plugged into the moment, to the zeitgeist, to the times, and the particular struggles that folks are thinking about as they look towards the future rather than look backward toward the past. And so some of it is choosing candidates who check that box. I do think that,
I did say that was one critique I think that was one critique I made of the right, that we don't promote our younger generation. Like the biggest guys, or the guys who hold the most power on the right or the most popularity, are the older guys. Are the guys that are like Obama's age. But if you look over there on the left, they got a lot of their young blood. So it does look like they are trying to, go for that Obama strategy again. Find a nice, young person that can connect to the youth, that's able to, relate to us, speak to our needs, and hopefully that can get them elected again. Hopefully, because that seems to be where they're going with people like Jasmine Crockett, AOC. I mean, we're now trying to pick it up a little bit, but every time we try to do the same thing with the Dems, by trying to bring up their trying to bring up their younger generation. I mean, we kind of like throw water on the fire of our younger generation on the right. Like, what was it? This James Fishback guy? Like, anytime some younger voice on the right comes up, we don't give them no type of word, no type of shout out, anything. We just uphold these older guys. So I will give it to the Dems. They do actually hold up their younger generation, even though there do seem to be a bunch of socialist crash outs. Not all of them, but it does seem to be most of them.
There is an element of joy that Democrats lost sometimes. Our campaign was fun. We had some, look, it wasn't always fun for me, but we built a community. We gave people a sense that,
oh guys, let's make sure you double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people in on the conversation by double tapping that screen, and make sure to hit that icon up there to subscribe to the channel, guys. Appreciate the support.
If you are part of this, you're doing something meaningful. And it wasn't just talk. Young people ran our campaigns. We empowered them. We put them in charge. They were out there figuring stuff out. I'm not the person who was figuring out our media strategy. I was not the person who was out there, knocking on doors and talking to voters and creating events. It was 20 and 30-year-olds. And so,
I mean, honestly, that's kind of the strategy that Charlie Kirk took on. I think Charlie Kirk might have looked back at the Obama administration and seen what they were doing. He's like, yo, we need to go out there and go 10 times harder. I mean, we need to go out there as the youth, start knocking on doors, start convincing people to vote for our side. And I mean, that's exactly what Charlie Kirk did with, I mean, way bigger reach too, by the way, because back in Obama's days, I mean, we didn't have TikTok. Instagram wasn't popping like it was. And now Charlie Kirk had all this at his disposal, so AKA more reach than, well, the Obama guys did going out door to door.
What happened in our campaign and what you recently saw in Mondami's campaign in New York.
Yeah.
When there's that sense of joy and engagement and involvement, then people feel like, all right, this is not just some transactional grind. This is me becoming part of a community and joining with others. And I think young people respond to that. And then a corollary to that is I do think that culturally, and I've talked about this before, we did turn off. I think there was a certain way of talking about issues for Democrats where we sounded like scolds. And I've said this before. There was a virtue signaling that made it seem as if ordinary folks, if they did not say things in exactly the right way or meet this litmus test, that they were being chastised, pushed away. And the truth is, most of us, all of us, are complicated and we have blind spots.
I mean, here's the thing. That's right. That's true. If people weren't going, I don't know, too crazy with the transgender ideology, if they wasn't going all the way out socialist, they were kind of getting pushed out. I mean, the same thing's happening over here on MAGA. I mean, if you're not pro-Israel enough, they try to push you out from the right, basically to the center. I mean, it's the same thing was happening on the Democrat side. If you wasn't going the full-on leftist, then you were going to get pushed out to the center with me. Hey, what's up?
Spots. And sometimes we say dumb stuff. And if you want to create an environment that is welcoming and makes people feel, okay, there's room for me here, then the message and the story we tell has to be, all right, none of us are perfect. All of us count. We all have good in us that we can tap into. We can all learn from each other. And I think that is something we need to recover. That's part of the fun of politics. That's part of the community and the social bonding that can come about. And we saw that in Minneapolis. I mean, somebody showed me a friend of mine, Michelle Norris, is from Minnesota, and she was up there, and she was going around talking to neighbors and people she had known for a long time as they were mobilizing protests and activities around ICE. And she showed me a clip of this street band that was performing every night after all these activities had been taking place and protests, etc. And they were just out there and they were playing music, and I'm trying to figure out how they were playing, horns and drums, etc., in like 0-degree weather, because I would not have been able to put my lips on on a trumpet. And people were celebrating what they had accomplished. And it was an embodiment of the values that make us care about other people. And that, I think, is a spirit that when Democrats tap into that spirit, then we win. The other side does the mean, angry,
demagoguery,
exclusive, us, them.
Are you sure? Come on now, Obama. Come on now. I mean, bro, if you go into those protests right now as an ICE supporter, you're not going to walk out, Obama. So you can't sit there and say that, oh, well, it's them that do all this one-sidedness. They can never come in the middle. There's no community. Bro, if I go out there right now saying I support ICE, I don't think I'm going to come back without a couple scratches on me. Actually, I'd be lucky to come back out that bitch alive. All right, bro. So I'm sorry, but you just can't sit there and say that, there's a oneness on this side and we allow the other side to come over here and kick it with us, but they don't allow us to do the same. Bro, if you're being fair, let's sit there and say this, bro. Both sides don't allow it. Both sides do not allow the other side to come in there into their space and actually have a voice. So if you want to be fair, because don't sit there and literally say, don't sit there and make it sound like I can go out there as a pro-ICE guy and actually gets heard out, because James O'Keefe did it and they ran him out of town. They followed his ass out of town. I don't like that dude Jake Lang, but he went over there trying to be pro-ICE and he got a brick to the head. So please miss us with that, because there's no proof of that. And shout out to my man, the lunatic libertarian. He says, see, politicians tell us every day on how failed our systems are and how they will fix it. Are we completely blind? Are we just ignorant? Stop participating. Yeah, stop participating. I do agree with you on that one. There's some government programs that, I'm be real with you, if it's not working for us whatsoever, yeah, why are we still participating in it? I mean, honestly, once we found out about all this fraud, there should have been a mass boycott on paying taxes. There should have been a mass boycott on that one. It's like, yo, no, I'm not paying y'all taxes until you figure out this fraud situation. Why am I throwing money away, working my ass off just for you guys to give it away to fraud or give it away to USA that don't really return anything for us? Like, no ROI on anything. We're sending millions around the world with no ROI, with no return on investment. That's bullshit.
Divisive politics. That's their home court.
Shoot, you sending money here, and
our court is coming together. Our court is, look, a great example.
Hey man, shout out to my man Cellulite Podcast. Make sure to go follow my man.
Political. Bad Bunny's halftime show.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. Well, it resonated. It was smart because it wasn't preaching. It was showing. It was demonstrating and displaying. This is what a community is. And people who did not speak Spanish and have never been to Puerto Rico, they saw that elderly woman serving a drink and the kids dancing with their.
Yeah, but the problem is, and this is where a lot of people had a conflict with this. I'm like, look, bro, if we did that for the World Cup, nobody would have no arguments. If we did that for the World Cup, sure, bro, y'all have been cooking with that. But the fact that y'all did it for American football, like literally a sport that only gets played in America, and you didn't want to make it like, you know, America themed. I mean, I see where people can find that disrespectful. Personally, though, I thought it was actually pretty cool. I see how they kind of pretty much try to say, oh, Puerto Rican heritage is a part of American heritage and all this good stuff, and it's all related and all that. I'm like, you know, I mean, you know, they work their way into our culture and all this, and we're good. It's like, I get it. That's nice. I love the message there. So I'm not really too mad about the Super Bowl performance. It's just that I hear what the, you know, I'm be real with you, I hear what the far right is saying when they say, yo, this is American football, and we're hearing a Spanish performance, and we can't understand not one word of this, and we're supposed to be able to relate to it. Like, I look, I get it that he's telling a story, but not everybody's like getting it like that, to be quite honest with you. And I can see why. But hey, it is what it is. I can see people have their personal feelings towards it. My personal feelings is that it's not that big of a deal. Like his halftime show, it's not really all that relevant. I get people are mad about it, but let's be real. TPUSA had their own little show. You could have watched that, and you'd have been just fine. And you could have went right back to the football show or to the football game.
Grandmas, and it was intergenerational, and it was a reminder of what Dr. King called the beloved community can look like, which is not perfect, and it's messy sometimes. And, you know, I guarantee you not all those lyrics were probably politically correct. And if you translated them, and, you know, they're, you know, people are complicated, but there was a sense of, all right, there's room for everybody here.
I don't know. And there'd be one question I would ask, like, which performance represented America most? Kid Rock singing about Jesus, or Bad Bunny having women twerking in stage singing in Spanish? Which one represented America more? I mean, I think that's the question a lot of people are asking themselves. Me, I ask myself that question, but to be quite honest, I'm not taking it as personally as a lot of people are.
That, I think, is where we win.
You know, your presidential center is opening up this summer, and you've dedicated your post-presidency to lifting up the next generation of leaders, oftentimes in defiance of people begging and pleading with you to stay involved in the political process. And so why is it important for you to defer to those people, especially at a moment where it feels like there is a vacuum of leadership on the left? You are among, if not the most popular politician in America. And so you're right here, you know? And so why is it important for you in this moment to make sure that you defer to others?
Well, first of all, I'm not a politician anymore, and I can't be, right? I mean, I guess technically I could run for, you know, city council or something, but I'm not in elected office. I don't have levers of power. I'm term limited out. And by the way, I believe in the Constitution, and also I believe in my marriage, and Michelle would divorce me even if I could run again. But I've always believed, I mean, this has been a central tenet of my work even before I was in elected office, that our job as leaders is to lift up other leaders, to empower others, to find their gifts and help them exercise those gifts. And so when I left the presidency, I said, what's our foundation going to do? We care about climate change. We care about racial justice. We care about healthcare. We care about a whole bunch of issues, and I work on those issues. Now, right now, I'm spending a lot of time helping to think about how we're going to respond to AI as it's coming down the pike, and it's moving fast. So I care about specific issues, but the thing I thought I could do you.
And let's be real. One of the main reasons for like a good amount of job loss is because a lot of these companies are switching to the AI. It's not tariffs. I'll tell you that right now. It ain't tariffs. It's the fact that companies are switching over to AI when it comes to they're doing their finance. I mean, sadly, when it's going to, even when it starts coming to like what? Assembly lines and all that good stuff, there's a way to automate that. I mean, we'll just wait till they start getting to the forklift drivers and the truck drivers. It's really going to be cooked, and we need to prepare for that. Like I said, if AI doesn't work the same way the internet does, to where, all right, look, it created just as many jobs as it took away, then we're gonna have to find a way to, fix that. And if we don't fix that, we're gonna have people rioting in the streets. So we can't have that.
Uniquely, Michelle and I still have the capacity, not just here in the United States.
Oh, guys, and it's actually crazy. You know what? I'm gonna be real with you. Shout out Puerto Rico. Shout out Puerto Rico, because they did some real N-word shit. Puerto Rico actually recognized a fetus as a human being. Yeah. They've actually recognized a fetus as a human being. And of course, all the liberals in Puerto Rico are losing their shit, because now, I mean, if you abort a baby, you're now basically killing a human being. So shout out to Puerto Rico for that.
But globally, to inspire and motivate young people and invite them in to this process. And that's what we need. We just talked about it. You look at where excitement's going to come from. It's going to come from the 20, 30-year-olds who know firsthand what it means to not be able to buy a house, know firsthand what it means to see some of the ladders of opportunity being taken away, have grown up in a moment in which there's more social isolation, right? And so and understand both the good and the bad of social media. And so they're the ones who are going to craft these, who are going to remake our institutions so that they are consistent with the values that are, I think, timeless. And so what we've tried to do at the foundation has been to identify potential leaders, not just with traditional credentials, not just the kids coming out of fancy schools or with the top grades, or but union organizers and grassroots organizers, as well as journalists and teachers and healthcare professionals and human rights activists. And we've now had thousands of folks go through the program, and these are folks who are doing remarkable stuff at very young ages. I mean, they're setting up health clinics in sub-Saharan Africa, or they're designing new programs for intervention in to help with the opioid crisis in Appalachia, or they're working on how do we educate kids and using technology in remote rural areas and Native American reservations. Remarkable folks are doing amazing stuff. And the Presidential Center, which will be opening up in June, is going to be the hub around which all this activity happens. And there'll be a museum with Michelle's dresses, since that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
We'll have some sports memorabilia and some cool stuff in there. But really, the heart of the Presidential Center is going to be the music studio, to where kids are learning how to tell stories through music, and a place to record podcasts so they can learn how to talk about the issues in ways that resonate. And there's a Chicago Public Library in there, and there's an auditorium.